Hey there, I'm Ernie Svensson, and I want to talk to you today about how to work smarter in your law practice. Really briefly, what we're talking about here is taking advantage of digital opportunities, being opportunistic about the opportunities that the digital revolution has brought to society, which is affecting everything, including the practice of law. So, how can you take advantage of these opportunities? Well, lots of lawyers already are, and I've observed sort of a period of what I would call the boom and bust cycle for this, which is initially lawyers were very skeptical. So the progression is, lawyers start from being skeptical about all this technology stuff, which is where they were, let's say 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And then all of a sudden they start to embrace technology. They get really enthusiastic about it. And now that's the place where we are. You see a lot of lawyers are embracing technology. They're super enthusiastic. They want to leverage more and more of it. And some of them are saying, man, look at all this amazing stuff I'm getting done. And they're getting a lot done. And then they're scaling their practice and they're doing this amazing stuff with their practices, but they're scaling more frantically than strategically. And then they hit this wall where the magic stops working, right? The magic stops working. All that stuff that used to work really well that they discovered sort of accidentally, frantically, boom, it's over. And the examples of this are like the Google algorithm changes. So if you had a website and you were making a lot of money and it was super easy, all of a sudden that magic goes away, which I know firsthand because I started blogging back in 2002 when no lawyers thought blogs would do anything for marketing, and I've watched it become less and less powerful. Although the way I did it, it became less powerful less suddenly, which I'll talk about in a second. But, so the Google stuff doesn't work so well. Mere blogging doesn't work so well anymore. You got to be strategic about it. Sending blast emails to people is decreasingly effective because more and more people are getting bombarded. So all these things that work really well at scale initially stop working because people don't know how to do this properly. And so then they go, well, it used to work, it didn't work, like I want to adapt, and then you try to figure out how to adapt. They usually adapt frantically. So what I recommend you do instead is learn to focus better on the things that work and what doesn't work and what's going to have a boom cycle and a bust cycle and what's not going to have a bust cycle. And basically that means considering the tech factors versus the human factors. The tech factors are what's changing all the time. The human factors are what is not changing all the time. And lawyers who used to be very skeptical about technology are all of a sudden embracing the tech stuff, and they're forgetting completely about the human factors. Now, who didn't forget about this is a fellow named Jeff Bezos, who you may know founded Amazon. And when people ask Jeff Bezos, what's the new thing? What should we pay attention to? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I focus more on the stuff that isn't changing. And if you look at what Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple have all done, besides the technology part, which is what people mostly focus on, they focus on the human factors, right? And so those are the things that don't change, that if you power them with technology, you get big results. So if you're a lawyer and you want to leverage technology and you want to work smarter and do all these amazing things, I suggest you stop running around frantically and get really strategic the way that Jeff Bezos and all these other folks who know what they're doing have done. And so that's what I want to help you understand. So in future videos and so forth, that's what I'm going to cover. But just so you understand where we're coming from, you want to avoid the bust cycle as much as possible. And that means focusing more on the human factors, which are actually, things that are more enjoyable to focus on, not just because they're not changing, but they're not things that you would have trouble understanding, whereas trying to keep up with technology for lawyers is usually pretty hard. All right, that's it. Take care. See you in the next video.